after further review.
What is going on, guys? Episode 44 of After Further Review coming up on Christmas, holiday season. Still on that grind. We might have a kind of a different episode for you guys next week, but we hope everyone's having a good, safe holiday. And yeah, we're going to be talking some sports tonight. How's everyone doing?
I'm doing good. Enjoying all the sports this weekend, taking in everything. How are you guys?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Actually, kind of excited about that Seahawks win on Monday night against the Eagles, just to keep it interesting, the division. Not a Drew Lock fan, Ben, courtesy of you. I don't like him because actually you don't like him. That I don't know if you guys saw the last drive in that game, but DK had two ridiculous catches. And I mean, I know Drew Lock threw the balls, but DK is insane. And it was a great game, not a lot of flags. And I was actually low key hyped. For some reason, these Seattle teams, the Mariners, I always kind of root for, the Seahawks, even against the Eagles, I was kind of rooting for them. So
Well, it was easy to you think about them and like the Legion of Boom against always wanting them to beat the Patriots, and
true, true.
you had that going. But yeah, that was a crazy game. Kept the Cowboys in it too after their tough loss. That was also good for them as far as the playoffs are concerned. Keeps them in first place for the moment. I know you said the tiebreaker uh, wouldn't be that, but
Yeah. I don't know because we talked about the tiebreaker. We went down the list of 12, and I know originally it was if they both won out, it would go down to conference record.
now they both have it.
Yeah, so the Eagles just lost. It's basically I'm not even trying to figure it out now because I feel like even if they go 2-0 against the Giants but lose to Kyler Murray, that's another conference loss.
I don't
So
know.
I have no idea what's happening now, but it's crazy. I wonder how far it could get in that tiebreaker. We talked about the most ever was like 5, and this could go like 3 or 4 easily. Steps down.
Yeah, the Seattle game was really interesting. It was I don't know, there's a lot of good defense, and it was just crazy how the Seahawks literally put Drew Lock up like 10 minutes before the game actually started, where he just got in there and like battled through. And it was one of those games where like the Eagles couldn't ever just put the game out of reach. So you knew, and then that last drive was just insane.
Yeah, and I don't have picks to touchdown to pick ratio. We were talking about that a few weeks ago with quarterback play and how in like 2012, I mean, even 2021, 2022 is pretty good. 2012, that's something they had. But Jalen Hurts, he did have 2 rushing touchdowns, but he threw no touchdowns and had 2 picks. And he has a good amount of turnovers this year. I was like, low key, I might just pull that up real quick just to see. But two, I mean, the last play of the game ended on a pick, and he didn't even need to like bomb it downfield double coverage into AJ Brown. Like,
Yeah, why did they do that? They had all they needed was like 8 yards.
yeah, I don't know, dude. And
Yeah.
Elliott literally kicked like the 58 yarder in the rain like 3 weeks ago. Like, he definitely can kick clutch field goals.
Like I feel like they could have got 8 yards easily, then had at least time for a deep shot, and then still be able to like kick the field goal. And they blew it all on like a deep shot. Seemed so unnecessary.
Yeah, I don't know. Some weird. I don't know if that was play calling or just hurts. I'm not sure.
I mean, maybe he
Who's
thought he was
their
gonna get a penalty too.
Yeah,
wait? Who's their offensive coordinator again? What's his name?
Brian Johnson.
Yeah. I literally wake up going to Instagram the next morning, and there's just it's Gordon's story is just a picture of Drew Lock, and it just says, "This team's pissing me off. Fire Brian Johnson today." I was like, "This
Oh
is
my God.
classic Philly
I know.
overreaction."
Did the team if you go back in the beginning of the season and say, hey, after week 14, you guys are gonna be 10-4, people would be like, oh, that's great, 10-4. Like that's
Yeah.
I get they haven't looked as good lately, but that is still a really good competitive football team. And just like the Cowboys, I mean, they haven't looked, on the road this season, especially, they haven't looked as dominant as they have been in home, but they could easily, turn it around and be the team that they were earlier. Ravens just keep rolling though.
Yeah, I know. It's making me really nervous of like how easily things are happening. And the biggest thing is losing Keaton Mitchell this week
I was
on
gonna
the
say, what's the
game.
status?
He's out for the year.
Ooh.
Yeah,
You
so
cannot catch a running back break.
no.
Because is J.K. Dobbins out for the year?
Yeah.
So now you have who? Gus Edwards and Justice Hill.
Yeah, and I guess Melvin Gordon is back, but
Oh,
I mean, yeah, I'm not really thrilled about it. Plus, it was nice that Keaton Mitchell he just was explosive. He was really fast. He seemed to find the holes really easily. He's kind of like a blend of what Justice Hill and Gus Edwards does, because they're both like the extreme. Justice Hill is like the fast guy, and Gus Edwards the bully ball type. And
yeah.
yeah, losing him, I mean, it's not a good thing, but everyone deals with injuries, so just sucks that they've lost two people specifically at key points. You lost J.K. Dobbins week 1,
Yeah.
and now you lose Keaton Mitchell heading into the playoffs. So tough position.
Dobbins has to have lost some of his explosiveness. I feel like he just keeps getting injured. I
I
don't
was
know.
hard. It's hard to tell. He only played
I know, I
like
know.
2 quarters. He looked explosive still. Like he looked like he still had power, but he's never gonna like blow the doors off of people. I feel like he's just like
Yeah. I feel
he's
like
not
he
gonna
always
do.
looks pretty good on the field. He just he
Yeah.
I can you can never see him on the field on a consistent basis.
I
Yeah,
mean,
it sucks. Like you almost forget like what he does.
I feel like if he just, I don't think he'll lose his explosiveness. I've like Brees Hall bounced back. Kenneth Walker's having a great year.
Just Dobbins
Like,
just this is like not the first injury he's
true,
had. That's why.
true.
Yeah, it's
But yeah,
twice.
he can certainly.
And he's also a free agent at the end of the year, so I'm not even sure he comes
Oh, I
back to
didn't
the
realize that.
Ravens.
Oh,
Yeah,
classic. He's gonna get a tear. He's gonna get like a nice week 1 to 2 year deal.
yeah. So yeah, I don't think he's coming back, but yeah, so have to ride Gus Edwards, not a bad thing, but
Yeah.
you know, would like to still have depth rolling into the playoffs.
And
Yeah.
on the other side of that, the Jaguars taking another loss. They're now 8-6. I don't know if Lawrence is a little hobbled or not, but I saw an interesting stat in their first 48 starts. His numbers are basically identical to Daniel Jones.
Oof.
Oof. I thought you were gonna name like the Bryce Young to Peyton Manning like start type deal.
No.
Danny
That's
died.
horrible.
Yeah, so
And
passing to touchdown, Lawrence is 55 and 35. Touchdown to interception, 55 to 35. Jones is 55 to 33. He has like a little more passing yards, basically same amount of yards per attempt, basically the same passer rating, and then 20 and 28 win-loss record, 19-29. Now, granted, Trevor Lawrence and Urban Meyer had a really rough start, so that's a little inflated,
yeah.
a little
But
bit
I
of.
would say on the whole, Lawrence has way more weapons than Daniel Jones has ever had.
Yeah, especially with Ridley, though they don't utilize Ridley like on a consistent basis sometimes either.
No, he's literally the Tobias Harris of the NFL.
Dude, I saw in
If
fantasy. I know you weren't involved, but I looked at your team and you had like the
I
most
know,
points out of
I literally
anyone.
I wanted to stab my eyeballs for the last 3 weeks of fantasy. Why couldn't this happen 2 weeks ago?
And I got just blown out. Nobody performed on my team. Sam Howell, who I was gonna ride with, he got bent or did he get injured?
Yeah, I
Did
think
he
he
get
got banged up. Yeah.
so now our record is probably in jeopardy too.
What record? Oh,
Sacks.
Yeah, the sack record.
he's at 59 sacks.
Oh,
We gotta get. I'm a scheme right now, Sam Howell. Let's see how he's doing.
yeah, that was a tough like to you. Well, you just missed it,
Right, yeah.
basically, and I got blown out week 1 anyway, or the first round anyway. Ryan brings up Sam Howell's injury, and it's just a diagram of Sam Howell's body with percentages of chances that he could play or not based on where it is on the body diagram.
I'm terrible at
Oh
just
my
like
gosh.
on the spot. I'm the opposite of Ben. I can't find it.
So the sack record is probably in jeopardy. He needs what like 26, 27
No,
sacks.
no, he's at 59. Less than 20
Oh, he's at
sacks.
59. I don't know why I thought. Okay, so 17
Yeah,
to tie.
Still a good amount.
That's a good
that's a
amount.
lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
might. He
The
might
Rams didn't
slide.
put up the number we needed the other
No.
week.
No, they let us down.
You know who else let me down? The Titans. I told
Oh,
you.
I picked them in our pick'em league. I thought they had it locked up. They were up, weren't they up 16-3?
Yeah.
That was a must-win game for your bet.
I literally told you that Dolphins was just a tease pick. That is a tease win. Come out, beat the Miami Dolphins. I knew they were just teasing.
That
me.
was their chance with Case Keenum at starter. That was their chance.
Yeah.
They literally played great except outside of like 6 minutes.
Yeah. I feel like even in over, there was like so many punts.
Was Henry?
But they weren't even using him.
No, they
towards the
did.
end. Not towards the end though.
No.
Oh yeah, because he had one of the worst games ever.
Yeah, he had 16 carries for 9 yards.
Yeah, it was but at the same time I feel like that's the offensive line.
4 catches for 1 yard.
Hey, at least he's putting that stat up when you're on a fantasy bye. He can put up a better stat line for you this week.
Yeah, no, absolute mess, Chase. You're right. Their offensive line, it's just probably a big part of why they're not winning this season because they've won. I mean, they were the 1 seed with Ryan Tannehill a few years ago, and I mean that O line's just not performing this year, and you're seeing it. And their defense isn't. I mean, it's pretty good, but it's not as stout as it's been.
Henry's not as dominant as he was too. I like Derrick Henry, but he's definitely not nearly as explosive as he was 2 years ago.
When you average 30 carries a game for like 3 straight years.
And he had a lot in college. I mean, I know he's a big dude, but where's him?
Yeah. He's got a lot of miles on him.
Yeah, he does.
And he gets gang tackled too because he's so big. So it's not like he just gets tackled easily. Like he gets ripped down by like linebackers and defensive linemen all the time.
He'd be in a good spot with like him and like another complimentary back.
Like a pass. He'd be like a good, like how Zeke and Tony Pollard did it in Dallas, like a 1-2 power back with him or third and shorts. And then you just have like who is that dude?
Darren Sproles.
I like that. I was going for this sketchy guy on the Washington Redskins. No, it's like something Thompson or something. Chris Thompson or something.
Yeah.
Do you remember him?
Yeah, Washington always had a receiving back. It was like him, JD McKissick, Antonio Gibson is the receiving back now. Yeah, they always have a receiver. But yeah, Chris Thompson, the Florida guy, he was a receiving back.
Darren Sproles would be a
Jarek
nice
McKinnon, like the Chiefs guy. He'd be
Yeah.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry would be nice on the Cowboys. It's like a nice like pull Pollard out and then have Derrick Henry in there for a few.
Yeah, he's a guy like who probably isn't any more the 20 carry a game guy, but you could still give him 10 to 12 and be productive.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, basically, because I have the fantasy buy. Derrick Henry, he was my first pick this year in the draft. Somehow ended up in a 14-person league with Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara, David Montgomery, and Kenneth Walker. Still don't know how. But so my 2 flex spots are literally just 2 running backs since we don't play tight end in a 14-person league. But basically what I was talking to Durst today since I play him, and Derrick Henry's a must have a good game. And then obviously Thielen's like my X factor. But Chase, to your point, you're 165 this week. Because you just missed the playoffs and we were talking about it. And it seems like for fantasy football, it takes skill to make the playoffs, but then it takes luck to win a championship because you can't play defense. And it's any given week, you could have your quarterback get injured mid-game or, just 3 players throw up a dud. But I kind of believe that because I feel like now in fantasy, you get 14 weeks. So you can have good weeks, bad weeks. But if you have enough stability and team management through buys and just different matchups and stuff, you can win enough games to make it. But then once you get into playoffs, like Ben's team literally just had he had a bad week.
Yep.
But single elimination, he's gone. And now Gordon moves on.
I mean,
you would have had a good, all right, Ben lost 125-78. I'd rather lose that than have Ben put up like 122.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Which you've done this year plenty of times.
Well, I had some guys like Noah Brown and Edwards Hilaire on the bench who had good games. But I mean, when you go against like McCaffrey, who had 43 points, and then Godwin had the best game of the season for the Bucks when I have Evans, but Godwin was like 10 for 160 or something like that. And it happens. So
Yeah. Yeah, I'm nervous though. I'm definitely nervous having the bye because I don't know, you just sit around and it's not like you can rest your guys either. Like I can't get everyone fully rested on my team. They all played
I
this
haven't
week,
announced
so
yet what the first place is going to get besides the money.
you don't have to give out a prize.
No, it's fun though.
I do like the last place next year gives a prize. That could be
Well,
finally a
the last
punishment
2 years I've done a prize. So last year was a trophy.
the glass.
Last year was a glass.
The 1 year before was the trophy, I
A
think.
trophy, and then a glass.
I do like last place gives a prize though. If anyone doesn't know our ship league, it's been active since 2017, and every year we try to come up with a punishment for last place, and we've still to this day. Actually, we came up with a punishment year one, and it was supposed to be everyone who didn't make the playoffs ran a beer mile. There's a bunch of us that still have to do that. Basically, it comes down to like people don't want to do it, but that'd be good. Whoever gets last buys a prize for whoever gets first.
Yeah, I think that's fair, and it doesn't have to be anything crazy. You can do like we can set a $20 limit. It could be a case of something, but
Yeah.
something added. That's that way I don't have to pay for it every year too, which I don't mind. This year it's gonna be like a little like belt, like championship belt
Okay.
type thing.
Nice. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I got plenty of space for it in my office.
Hey, out of who's the four left? You, Gordon, Durst, and
Dome.
Dom.
Yeah.
Wow.
See, I don't mind any of those four. Like, well,
Garrett's
we're
out
on
of
the
it.
podcast. I don't want to. Who's listening? I love all of you in the league, and I'm the commissioner. I have no bias.
No, we're
That's the end of
happy
that.
Garrett's not winning. Garrett, if you're listening, I'm glad you missed the playoffs.
Just pick your team. Just show up. Show up to
it's just
draft.
people who don't draft. We don't want to win.
Yeah.
But now back to the NFL. Just looking at what happened this week in the playoff picture, I don't know if there's just like way too much money in the NFL right now, and there's like sketchy things happening. But I don't want to overlook what happened in the Raiders Chargers game on Thursday night last week. The Raiders scored 0 points against the Vikings. I don't care who you're playing. I'm glad Staley got canned because he should have gotten canned like 3 years ago. Ben, you said it on the podcast all season long.
Should have gotten canned after the playoff game last year.
Yeah.
That should have been an automatic canning.
But
He's garbage.
I don't understand how you score 0 points and then the next game you come back and score 63. That's an NFL record. And that was just ridiculous. It pissed me off to start the week because I picked the Chargers in my pick'ems because the Raiders have been trash. Like, who is Aiden O'Connell? Do either you
I
know where he
picked
went
the
to
Raiders.
college?
Yeah, he went to Purdue.
Chase, of course you knew that.
Yeah.
But
Also,
He was actually kind of cheeks at Purdue, I'm not gonna lie.
I will say Khalil Mack's defensive player of the year odds went way down after that game.
oh, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, that didn't help him.
Also, not only did the Titans choke and basically butcher my chances of the over 7.5 wins, but now the Texans won and the Colts won on Saturday, and they're in the 7th and 8th spot, both at 8 and 6 right now. So if every team in the AFC South makes the playoffs, I haven't come up with it yet, but first off, the Colts too. Like, are they? I feel like they low-key have to be like the most surprising team of the year. Because no matter who at quarterback, no one would have thought they were where they're at.
Yeah, I agree. And Anthony Richardson, before he got hurt, was putting up some good numbers. So you can make a case that even with either quarterback, it's surprising they've done this. But I mean, Minshew has experience at the NFL level. I mean, he's seen really tough defenses in every spot. I mean, he was with Jacksonville, he's with the Eagles, so good winning places, and now he gets the try it out in Indy. So, and they still have good players too.
Yeah.
So
He feels like a really good backup wherever he goes. Like someone you can plug in and have really good shot to win the game, not just like a plug in. Like he could be a starter on a team. I mean he is a starter now, but I mean he can start during the season.
It's like a spectrum of like Brady, who he just needs a cardboard box and he'll win a game as a wide receiver, versus like Minshew on the other end of the spectrum, like needs a lot of talent around him but can still win a game. So it's
Yeah,
like, yeah, Brady could just do it on his own, but like Minshew, as long as he has the pieces, he could do it.
yeah.
I feel like if Minshew didn't have anybody at like receiver or running back, it'd be tough sledding for him.
Yeah.
But
The
yeah,
good news for Ryan, based on their schedules, 3 games left. The Colts and Texans last game, they do play each other,
Yes.
so that's good.
That is key because I honestly feel like that's going to become a win and you're in. I mean, the Jags have lost three straight. I thought they had the division in the bag. So I don't know.
Lawrence is banged up. I think he's more banged up.
He's like Joe Burrow in the beginning of the year.
Well, after that ankle situation, I feel like he's not looked the same. That ankle was that 2 weeks ago now.
yeah,
I mean, and they, yeah.
By the way,
See.
while we're talking about the Colts, what'd you guys think of the hit on Michael Pittman?
yeah, that was outrageous, and I'm glad that KZ suspended because that's just like it was so unnecessary.
It was like I know they're bang bang plays, but it literally looked like Pittman basically just crumpled up into like a ball of paper. Like he just
Yeah,
like crunched.
like
What was
both of them could have got paralyzed from that hit. Two, KZ's a repeat offender with stuff like this. He's done it everywhere he's played at. Like
classic?
he's just like I get you're a big hitter, but you can be a big hitter and like not do it in a way where you're both colliding necks. Like,
Yeah. What
bro,
was the
what?
suspension? What
The
was
rest of the year.
Yeah, so 3 games.
Does
Yeah.
that include? Well, does that include? I know the Steelers probably aren't making the playoffs, but does that include if they made it?
I would assume it would like
Okay.
include like through the end of the
Okay.
league year. Yeah.
Is that does it tie anything into the Steelers and their organization? I mean, the AFC North we always talk about they're tough defensive battles, a bunch of grit and grind. Like, does it have anything to do with like Tomlin and how they want their players to play? I mean, I'm not saying they want them to be dirty, but like, is he telling them to, like play 1,000,000% and hit as hard as you can, which I know there's certain levels. Casey's had a couple hits this year from what I saw on like a little reel, but
Yeah, he's always done it. But I think it's 9 times out of 10 he might hit somebody and the ball pops out. And like that's why they brought him in. But that one time is when he hit somebody and it's like so dangerous because it's like he's willing to just literally throw himself at a 6'4", 250 pound like receiver. Just be like, yeah, I don't give a shit.
I
That
also
guy's like 8 inches taller than him.
I don't want to defend him, but I also think it gets exploded a little more because I think you can just hear everything going when the game's much better. So the noise sounds 10 times worse, but also B, these hits have been like deemed illegal or personal fouls for now at least 10 to 15 years. So you just don't see them as much. They're uncommon. So when you see one, it could look a lot worse than maybe it is. I don't know. The biggest thing for me is always the sliding QB. I
Yeah.
feel like that always just you get into situations where they could literally get popped because the guy's going low and then they slide. Like Andy Dalton on the Cowboys a few years ago got speared
Yeah.
by Commander with that. But I don't know. I mean, it just looked really bad. Pittman just looked like he crunched. So if he did a couple of them, I get it. But you're right, he is a tiny guy. So
Yeah, it's just like I think there's ways to hit people, still have it be a big hit, but not that amount of damage to somebody, like a vital part of their body. Like I feel like he could have like still collided with them, but like hit him in the ribs, hit him in the like just further down the body. Like he went for the head. Like,
yeah,
dude, come on. Like that's not like I feel like and you could say, oh, it's an emotion. Oh, I can't aim. It's like I don't know. I feel like you can tell whether or not you're gonna hit somebody's head and neck versus that guy's 6'4". It's not like he was going after Darren Sproles. Like he's going after a giant cruise liner basically on the field.
no, yeah, good points. I mean, I never played organized football, but I've played more than enough games of backyard football in my day. And I feel like you know where you're tackling somebody. Like as
Yeah.
even when you're running full speed, I don't know. I never just like put my head down and like went rhinosaur mode or rhinoceros mode.
Yeah, you would never jump headfirst into somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I wasn't wearing a helmet, but
Some guys enjoy the contact. They're like they thrive on it.
that's true.
Yeah, they like it, and I don't know, sometimes like it works out, but I don't
Yeah.
know if this is actually true or not, but I heard if you wanted to make football safer, you'd have to make it more like rugby and not have any safety equipment.
Dang.
Like I'm sure the concussions wouldn't change, but
Yeah.
like you wouldn't have like I guarantee Casey wouldn't do that type of hit on somebody if he didn't have a helmet and shoulder pads.
You're right. Yeah.
Like that would be like
Yeah.
just hitting your head on someone's elbow would like wreck you. But if you have a helmet on, it's like the guy with the elbow is getting banged up.
Yeah, again, can they take the XFL and USFL up on trying that out?
I
Like how
mean,
baseball uses the minors. I mean, I feel like you'd have to try it
And
out
then
on
it
like
just
a
turned into rugby.
well,
no.
just like it's like the in between of like flag football and actual football. It's like, well, you just tackle.
It's
I don't know.
like
I feel like that's a good league. I feel like people watch
yeah, it would
that.
take players a lot to get used to. Like I'm just imagining like a slant up the middle and a guy with no pads and on either side just coming up and spearing the guy like some WWE like
Yeah.
edge
I
or
f-
something.
I just feel like the tackling would be like way more natural. Like
Yeah.
it would probably be like less injuries maybe too. Because
Yeah, I mean,
That was a good point. I mean, it's definitely it makes sense.
it's hard because I mean, Chase, when we grew up, if a guy who caught the ball was running full speed, like 100 miles per hour at you, it was you didn't necessarily want to get in front of it. So I guess that's where, like, at least if you have the pad, you're like, oh yeah, I can get in front of this. But
it's
yeah,
still the same impact though. That's what I don't
that's
like.
true. Yeah,
It's
true.
like it's like whether it's like getting hit by a car. It's like, well, I'm gonna put this helmet on. It's like you're still getting hit by a car. Like, yeah, that's great, but like
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, well, when we start our own football league, that's how we're doing it.
Yeah. That was
No pads. It's way cheaper investment wise.
we got no equipment needed.
Yeah, you just need a pair of cleats and gloves. That's literally it. And a football. And I wonder if like older players could still play it because they know like the element of like having to do like flashy hits or like a guy who can only rely on like doing that. Like I wonder if Frank Gore would like be like, yeah, man. Like
That's
just
it.
5-on-5 hybrid football.
That could be a league, like a hybrid type football league. That could
Yeah.
like the
Get like
golf.
a and you play on like it doesn't even have to be like 100 yards. It could be like 60 or something. Like
Yeah.
a little bit tighter.
I mean, it's only a matter of time before there's some like virtual thing that has like players like in real life performing against like fake like computer AI. You can watch it as like an actual game or something.
True. Yeah, that's a good
Should be
point.
insane.
You're just gonna be able to pick any player from any era and be like,
Yeah.
yeah, I want to see this.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to see like
Just to see what it would like, well, just to see what it would look like. That
all
would
right,
be
well,
intense.
some good football stuff. I just want to quickly talk baseball. There wasn't a lot that went on. Obviously, the Otani news. I realized we didn't talk about Soto last week that he went to the Yankees. I don't really have much to say about it, but it happened. We kind of just didn't discuss it. But Soto's a Yankee now, so that's kind of cheeks.
He's like a Kmart John Carlos Stanton.
Mets made a little move that I was happy about. They acquired Adrian Hauser and Tyrone Taylor from the Brewers. So that gives the Mets some depth. And they got for like a low level minor league guy. It's not really a prospect. It was, I think, more of a salary dump. So I like that trade. And David Stearns coming over from the Brewers probably knows those players pretty well. Tyrone Taylor used to be a really big prospect and he's getting older, but Hauser's a great, like, he's a good guy you can plug in as a 4 or 5 in the rotation and eat up some innings, which is what the Mets need. So I like that move, and Mets willing to take on some salary, so that's good for them. And we'll see. Next up, I guess, is the Yamamoto sweepstakes, and it seems like it's down. I swear, if the Dodgers get him too, I'm gonna be so pissed.
Yeah. I don't know who the finalists are though.
It seemed like the
Or
Phillies even had a meeting with him too, right?
yeah, yeah, I saw Harper had a
Yeah.
little chat, but
It seems like the Mets and Yankees and Dodgers, Giants, Phillies. I don't know. Blue Jays sounded like they're involved too.
Oh my God.
I saw the Philly or the not the Phillies. The Yankees had Hideki Matsui come to their meeting.
With them, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear like what the teams are doing for
Mhm.
all these things, but
Yeah, it was weird with the Otani thing. Did you see that? Like, there was a Kobe video they played that Otani really liked.
yeah, that was from his original time.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I
That's
didn't know that either. I was like, why do you care about that now and not like
did
5 years
yeah. Did they
ago?
just not show it to him the first time?
Maybe he didn't. I honestly, I kind of think it was like maybe he didn't really know who Kobe was or the impact. And he was
That's
like, oh,
true.
okay, just a basketball player.
I
So
mean, that I
maybe like
guess
now it's a little different because he's been in LA. He was obviously there when he died, so he probably like realized like, oh shit, it's not just like some random basketball guy.
that's true. Like, I guess with his death, it also kind of helped his legacy to some, not help, but you know what I mean. So
It just put a spotlight on it, and I don't know, maybe that was why, but yeah, I just thought that was weird. I was like, did that not make an impact on you the first time around though?
yeah,
Like why are you bringing it up now when it's like you're letting the Dodgers slip on their recruiting? They're just giving you old stuff. Yeah, it was crazy though. And Phillies wise, I haven't heard really anything other than the Yamamoto thing, but I haven't heard anything else that they're cooking up or even a part of, so pretty quiet on their end.
yeah.
Mysterious, you might say.
And I just so you talked about last week, Chase, just kind of you were wondering the Angel sweepstakes who were like the finalists. So I did bring that up just to see who the finalists were. So for that, at that point, it was the Angels. And
Yeah,
from my understanding, Trout had a big part of that to
yeah.
like lure him to Los Angeles. The Angels, the Mariners, the Rangers, Dodgers, Padres, Cubs, and Giants were the finalists.
All right, so
So like half the league.
Yeah. So he basically said he was humbled. No, it was like 6 teams.
but I didn't know if it was down to like three. Like he didn't take anything else from anybody. Like he kind of
Yeah.
just kind of came in and
It didn't say. He just basically said he was humbled and flattered by that so many teams put in their presentation, and he felt a strong connection with the Angels and believes they can help him best reach his goals in Major League Baseball.
yeah.
So they didn't, but
Well, that might have been the biggest brick of the century in our generation. Like he spent all that time and I was like, bro, you should have just picked the Dodgers from the out.
yeah.
Instead of
Well,
teasing me for your whole career and then just picking the Dodgers anyways.
I
Just
know,
killed my heart.
I know. It's been quiet. I think people are waiting. There's been this like big free agents to drop. So like I think everyone was waiting for Otani, and now everyone's kind of waiting for Yamamoto to kind of see where the money's going to get allocated if it's not to him. And there's just not a lot. It's been kind of slow at this point. Like I think you got guys like Bellinger who might get big contracts. I saw some rumors that Reese Hoskins and the Blue Jays were talking. So
Yeah.
we'll get some of those here and there, but slow
I
time
s-
baseball.
yeah, I saw Roki Sasaki, he's like 21-year-old Japanese pitcher. I saw he wanted to be posted to go Otani style where he has to sign for a minor league deal, but it wasn't guaranteed yet they were gonna post him yet.
It seemed like they weren't going to because he hasn't played very much. Like Otani at his age, I played a lot more professionally, and
How
I
does that work again?
they're like required technically. I think it's like 9 years to play before they can get posted, but some teams can grant them like that before.
You have to play like in a different country. You're
And
trying to
no,
come to
this
the
is the
MLB.
end. No, this is the end, like international, like the MPB.
Yeah.
That's the MPB's
You have to play
rules.
9 years.
That's the MPB's rules, not MLB, right? I think it's MPB.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to play, and then if you want to go out early like Otani, you can, but it has to be for a minimum contract,
And the
like a
team still
minor
has to
league
like
deal.
say yes. Like they still
Yeah.
have to like agree to
So
it.
Japan let Otani come over early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No wonder the players come over so
But I think it's
old.
9 years. I think that's what the actual time frame is.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
Bro, you have like 18-year-old NBA guys coming over.
That's why it's so crazy the pitcher that's coming over because he's 25. So he's like in his prime.
Yeah, the next 3 years are going to be crazy because there's a bunch of guys who are 25 that are going to be eligible.
Yeah.
Like the guy, he's a third baseman, I think. He's a unit. He is an absolute unit. But he's going to get posted, and I'm pretty sure he's won like the batting title like the last 4 years.
Oh my
Well,
gosh.
even the guy this year, the
So
the
this is
one the
this
one
is
the Giants signed, he wasn't that old either.
Oh yeah, Lee.
Yeah.
so this isn't
Yeah.
just Japan. This is any if you're like from a different country and you play baseball there and you want to play in like the MLB.
I don't know like how the other leagues are.
Okay. Oh, so this is just
Yeah.
the Japanese league.
Yeah, just their system. Like I don't know how it is for like Puerto Rican players or like Mexican players or
That's intense. In the MLB in the US, you can get drafted out of high school still. And other sports, it's like max, like NFL's like 3 years of college football.
He's got a
yeah,
career 1.72 ERA, by the way, over there.
that's insane.
He
Oh
wasn't
my
he's only a
God.
starter though for 4 years, 4 of the 7, but
Yeah.
still.
Yeah, that league's not any like that's not
No.
no shabby league.
No, his 4 years, his last 4 years there, 18 and 5, 1.39, 15 and 5, 1.68, 17 and 6, 1.16, and 16 and 6, 1.1, 1.21.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And these are like 170, 180 innings like each year.
So a good sample. That's probably more than like what most of the number ones and twos through this year.
Yeah, so that's why he's gonna get. I mean, he's gonna get probably a close to $300 million contract, or maybe 2 million a year for the next 9 years. And freaking
Yeah.
Dodgers. I swear, if I'm gonna be so pissed if the Dodgers get him, just because it's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, what point does the MLB shut that down?
Like, as disappointed as I would be if the Mets didn't get him, like if the Giants or Blue Jay, I wouldn't care. I'd be like, okay, at least he picked like a different team.
Go to the he can go to the
Like
AL if he doesn't come back.
Otani can now like tell him to come there. Like, I'm sure that's a pretty good pitch.
Yeah, you'd have to imagine the Dodgers going to be finalists for everyone that's coming over like the next 4 year, like
Yeah,
four
because of
years.
Otani. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's he's yeah, you're right. Oh my gosh, can you imagine Suzuki, that's Roki on hit that team?
Yeah. Plus,
Oh
if they get any of the other guys who are going to come over next year,
yeah,
like I think next year might be even more loaded than what this year is.
jeez. I
So if
like
they
it though,
get,
new talent. Because Kodai Senga, who the Mets signed, was under the radar, kind of older, and he put up a really good year.
yeah, last year had a couple good guys. It was like him.
Fujiyama wasn't bad. I mean, I know he's kind of
Yeah.
no,
Uh, was it Yoshida's first year?
yeah, yeah.
And
Yoshida's first year, and he hit. Didn't he hit over 300?
yeah, he did really well. Suzuki from Chicago, is he 1 or 2 years?
Oh, Seiyu, I think he was.
Yeah,
That was his second year,
second
but
year.
he's been
Yeah.
good. Yeah, he's been good too.
Yeah, so it's neat that they're like, because I feel like for a little time period, like guys are coming over and not doing that great.
Yeah,
Like they were like 32 and it was like they had 1 or 2 good years. Like Tanaka was okay, but he fell off, and when he fell off, it was bad.
yeah. He was really good for a few years, and then yeah. Well, he was one of the older guys, so then he didn't have a lot. He didn't have a lot of time over here in his prime.
Yeah, like him, Maeda from like the Twins, Ryu, like they all just like hit like a plateau at a certain point, and they're just like a 5.0 ERA now.
Yeah, and the other thing I was gonna say is like you also have guys going the other way. Like I don't know if you saw Eric Fede
Oh yeah, going over
signed by
there.
the White Sox. Like he was kind of a crappy pitcher in the MLB, and then went over there for a few years, had some like really good years, and he got like a nice 2 year, $15 million contract back here. So it's like even if it doesn't work out here, it's some good options for players to maybe rebound a different environment.
When's Trevor Bauer coming back?
That's a good question. The
I mean,
problem
he
is that
got cleared,
the
so
problem is that he's like cleared. I think he just, besides all that stuff, I don't think he was ever a super well liked guy in the clubhouse. Like I
yeah,
don't
he's
know.
got to like rebuild his image somehow. But
Yeah, I just don't.
he's talented. I mean,
You just got to make sure he's going to gel with the clubhouse. That's all. At this point, I think that's all it is at this point. Because
yeah,
on the field, I think he's still a he still has talent to be a major league pitcher. I don't think there's any question about that.
Yeah, and maybe this whole situation like changes the way he like acts. Is like, I mean, he legitimately could have had it all taken away.
Well, I
And
mean, that's a type of question. Why don't the A's try to reach out and say, "Hey, 1 year, $8 million back in the majors. You want in, and you can show that you're good enough for like you're good to be on an MLB roster again."
oh
Like,
yeah,
why don't the A's do stuff like that? Like that feels like a great move for them. They get like some like notoriety, whether it's good publicity, bad publicities, or it doesn't matter. It's publicity, and they get an actual talented major league guy who they don't even have like maybe they have one talented guy on the roster. Go under
yeah.
again. Go under on the wins. I don't know what it is. Just go under.
It's probably even lower. Like, I
I
mean,
mean, last year it was a ridiculous 59 and a half.
it could be like 54 this year.
I agree. And I'd go under all day.
Like they might even take a step further back.
I go the alt under on that one.
They, hey, you never know. Bartolo might have a decent year in the Saudi league, and they
Yo,
just sign him for like 1 year.
yo, I hope someone just. Do we know how that's going? I did
No,
see it.
we should actually do an update and
I
take a
said hi.
peruse on the stats.
Yeah, we should do a quick cruise. I did see highlights of that a little bit. I didn't really. I just saw Bartolo pitching. All right, so we're gonna do a quick deep dive.
A quick deep
A
dive.
quick deep dive.
What can't that just be called a shallow dive?
Shallow dive. Sure. It's called. It's not called the Saudi League. It's called the. Was it Baseball
Oh yeah,
United? Is that what it is?
yeah, Baseball United.
Baseball United.
Such a sneaky name.
I just want to know their stats.
Oh, Pablo Sandoval still making history. It seems like their news
Oh, he
hasn't
hit the first
updated.
ever 6 run homer.
Yeah, yeah, that was
Yeah.
A 6 run homer. How many bases are there?
Wait, they already have all stars?
it was you got it based off like
What?
there's an inning and everything's like doubled and he hit a home run and it counted as like a double thing.
Oh,
So I'm pretty sure there was like two people on.
Oh, this is not super user friendly. I know you guys can't see this, but we're trying to just get some stats, and
Oh,
it's not.
Baseball United, don't do I know you have money to do better site than this.
Jair Jurgens though doing his thing,
All right.
4 scoreless innings. Uh,
Quality outing.
like they don't. They're not. The problem is their names are not clickable, and they're not showing you like sees. They're just showing you the game. Okay, Cologne just 4 hitless innings with no runs, no walks, and no Ks.
All right. That was effective.
all right. I'm about to pivot.
We'll leave it at that. Yep.
I'm pivoting.
No pivot.
Chase, question for you. College football bowl games. It's a big time of year for that. And I know
Oh
you're a
yeah.
big college football fan. I didn't know if you wanted to run through any of that real quick, but I also wanted to ask with that is I heard rumors that like in college you have to play 3 years before the NFL. I heard rumors that there could be a bunch of high level QBs actually staying in the NCAA an extra year because their NIL deals they could make more than being an NFL rookie. One, is that true? And two, will that will more players play in bowl games because of it? Because I knew that was like a thing a few years ago. Players stopped playing in the bowl games because they like didn't matter or they wanted to be ready, not injured for the NFL draft. So I don't know if you could just touch on those two things quick, and then you can dive into the bowl games if you want.
Yeah. A lot of people are staying because of the money, and it's pretty good. I think the top QBs this year were topping out at like $2 million. So it's not a bad deal. Plus, you can still develop yourself and keep transferring to better destinations and keep polishing it. So, yeah, I think a lot of people are. I still think they're gonna skip the bowl games though, just because they don't really matter unless it's in the playoff. I think they're just gonna sit out because it's the last game. It really doesn't mean a lot, and the risk of injury is too high because if you injure yourself now, it's gonna affect the next season, and that could be for a lot of guys like their last year. So I think it like solves one problem of like keeping people around, but it also just doesn't do anything about the bowl games, like because there's just so many like meaningless ones.
What is the point of the bowl games for like a non-college football fan out there?
I think it's just money for
Okay.
schools. Like I
I
don't
love them.
know.
They're named what they are.
Yeah, like they're just I think a way to like fill out schedules and make money for schools and stuff like that. And but I don't there there's so many of them, it just seems like pointless. Yeah, like the what like the way they come up with the names is just hilarious to me. We're already in bowl season. It started already. Got a weekend, a bunch of matchups already taking place. But some of the ones that were my favorite so far were the Avocado Bowl.
Mhm.
It's a pretty good one. Let's see, what was it? Avocados from Mexico Cure Bowl.
Okay, yeah.
The
Yeah.
yeah, the Cricket Celebration Bowl.
Mhm.
Let's see, Famous Toastery Bowl, the
Mhm.
Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl, RoofClaim.com Boca Raton Bowl.
I like how they had to do the dot. They had to put the .com in there. Couldn't just do the
Yeah.
bowl.
Oh, here's a good one. The Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah.
I'm sure
And this is
Georgia.
all just money purposes, Chase.
Yeah, this is just, I think, sponsors blowing end of the year tax money and these schools just getting money for showing up with
Because basically,
having a winning season.
yeah, I was gonna say if you have a winning season, you make the bowl game, right?
Yeah.
And there
Like
is
you,
plenty of D1 college teams.
I mean, some of them are good matchups, like decent plays that come from it, but there's some games that just suck. Like, I don't know why some teams are getting in and playing a bowl game.
It felt like though growing up, like they were they were a big deal. Like I know now, I know the college football ones are obviously a big deal, but growing up, there's only two teams that played in the championship. There was no playoff or anything. So like the Rose Bowl, the Orange Bowl, the Fiesta Bowl, like they were. I feel like they were a big deal. Is it just
Yeah.
people are now realizing like they really don't matter that much, or at least the players, I guess.
Yeah, I think it just changed and now only four of them matter. Like the four playoff games, whichever, and I think they rotate every year, but it's just funny. I love seeing that the names come up because it changes so much every year. Like it's the ones you know of, like the Fiesta Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, the Cotton Bowl, the Rose Bowl, all the ones we know of. But it's just crazy how much it changes into just what companies can afford it and then do it.
Article I brought up from 2018 that says basically like the lowest level college bowl games are usually deals like 500K or less, but then like the big ones could be like 20 million or more. And this is from 2018, so I'm sure that's gone way up since then.
Oh yeah. The famous Idaho Potato Bowl. That's a
That's a
classic
name.
one. Yeah, that's a classic one though.
Yeah, Potato Bowl sounds cool.
It's the famous.
Not like the military bowl presented by GoBowling.com bowl.
Yeah, that SRS Distribution Las Vegas Bowl. What the hell is that? Guaranteed rate. The Duke's Mayo Bowl. Not about that. They dumped mayo on the winning coach. That's disgusting.
At
The Bad Boy Mowers Bowl.
least the Pop Tarts bowl sounds cool.
Yeah, that one seems. The Wasabi Fenway Bowl. Like it's just funny too because like the companies don't have anything to do with like the second half of the game. Like there's like no tie-in sometimes.
Yeah.
The Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. Formerly just the Sun Bowl, now Tony the Tiger
Yeah,
Sun
it's
Bowl.
crazy. Like even like the Con Bowl, they have to have an advertisement on the beginning of it. That's
Yeah,
so.
the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl.
I didn't realize Barstool has their name in the one now.
Yeah, I think they started that last year. I think they're 2 years in now.
I mean, regardless of it not meaning anything, I get players sitting out too, but also like I don't know, the NFL you play 17 games plus playoffs if you make it.
Yeah.
College you're playing 12 games, so especially if you know you're not playing for the playoffs, then what's worth playing like the 11th game, the 10th game? Like why not play the bowl game? I mean, I get the bowl game doesn't matter, but I'm sure there's plenty of teams who I mean, if you're in the Heisman running or you're playing for the championship, or I guess the conference championships are big games still. But
It's because of the guys that got injured in those bowl games. No.
Yeah.
Was McCaffrey one of them or did he sit out? I don't remember.
I think he sat out, but
Yeah, but how many?
I mean, when you got all this money to go pro, all these top guys, they're not going to risk it for the biscuit.
Yeah, but then why not sit out
You got to play
the
some.
last 2 games of the season? Like it's just the bowl game. I don't know. The whole college structure is terrible to me. It's just awful. Like college football, college basketball does a great job.
Yeah.
They do. They do. They have the
It'll
best.
be better when they because it's next.
How
Is it
many
next
bowl
year?
games are you going to watch?
No, but next year when they change it, it'll be more interesting because the format's going to be different. Is it next year or 2 years from now?
I think
Well,
it's
with the
next
top
year.
12 teams make it.
Yeah,
Okay, there's still. What about the other 100?
no one wants to see them anymore. No
You
one wants to see Liberty.
guarantee. I'm putting the 100% on Ben that there's a better chance you watch like the worst conference in college basketball's championship game to get in as like a 16th seed, the game to get in as a 16th seed, then you will sit down and watch any bowl game this year. Any. Even the playoffs to get to the national championship.
Yeah, but this isn't for me. This is for other consumers. I didn't say I agree. I'd be sooner watching like Elon versus Marist basketball game, most likely on
But I'm
ESPN
just
Plus.
yeah, but
But
that's what I'm
college football is
saying.
not just not.
The
He's never
structure
been my.
though, I don't mind football. I mean, it's not my favorite, but I feel like if they did something better, like I don't know, you're only playing like 10 to 12 games a year. You can't play one more. Like they should make these games more than just a money pot. Then there should be something involved in it. I just why okay, let me ask you this. In the NBA, the LeBron and them just played in the in-season
Oh my
tournament
gosh! Oh my
championship.
gosh! We're going.
Why did those players play in it? What if Anthony Davis went down and he was out for the season? He played in it. I'm just trying to gauge why. Like I get like players have gotten injured, but Paul George broke his leg on the U.S.
But these
men's
are
team.
guys that have already made lots of money in the professional
Okay,
league.
okay. I see the point.
Like
Okay.
yes, Caleb Williams, if he played,
So does
peak
everyone
Caleb
play?
Williams is going to get a bunch of money if he stayed in college or not. But like, there's going to be some.
Is he playing in the bowl game?
No, but Caleb. But
But he's gonna stay in the college.
no, he's probably going to come out.
Okay.
I'm just saying there are guys, but there's other ones that they're expecting to go get drafted and they don't want to risk it. I don't necessarily agree with it or disagree. I'm just saying that's why they do it.
I think it's still good though, because like Jadeveon Clowney, he was probably going to be the number one pick anyways, but then he plays their bowl game and has that massive hit against Michigan, and it kind of cemented his like legacy as like, oh wow, number one recruit coming out of high school. Now he's just setting himself up to be the number one pick in the NFL, and that happened because he played in like the Outback Bowl that year, which I don't think was for anything that year.
So you're a big bowl game guy, Chase. Do you like the bowl games?
I think if they're gonna have these dumb bowl games, at least have the people playing it, like you're saying. Like,
That's
I
what
don't
I'm.
know.
If they're gonna have them, like I'm just trying to. Any other situation, I just don't.
Because
I don't.
I think
Don't. Is
more
there any
gonna
incentive? Like, there's maybe make an incentive to play in it. Then
I well because like I think a lot of guys have skipped the bowl game and then done their pro day and got hurt at the pro day. And I was like, well, you weren't gonna skip that. So like I don't know. I think it's like if you're gonna get hurt, it's gonna happen either way.
yeah, I agree. Do you think is it only like a small percent that skip?
It's probably yeah, it probably seems like a lot more. But on the whole, it might not be like. Well, also, it's going to be different too because of how many people are transferring now too. So they're just leaving their team, and a lot of that happened already with like December 1st. It was like open again, so like a lot of people already transferred or like applied to be transferred that I guess would have played in a bowl game for their respective teams.
The bowl, I get. I don't like the structure, and I just made the point that Ben's not going to watch any bowl games because they're pointless.
I will
But
watch
also,
some,
I want to circle back on
not a
my
lot.
own take. I know I'm kind of going around here, but I mean, you play football's like a family sport. I don't know. You go through a lot as a team, and especially if you're like a junior or a senior, like you show up and you play with your team. If your team has a game, if you were playing in like a soccer tournament growing up,
Yeah, but it's
and
also a
you
career for some people. They're looking at it like, all right, what's the best move? How do I advance in my career and be as successful as possible? And
but I
that's
mean, it's
what they
just
feel like is the next move for them.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the way around it is to give them bonuses through their
Yeah,
NIL deal if they like win or
yeah.
yeah, like
play.
that's what the in season tournament they did. There was money involved.
I
I
mean, I
mean,
agree. It'd be hard as a competitor to just. It's got to be hard, and I don't think a lot of them it's an easy decision because as a competitor, I'm sure it's tough to just almost leave your team out high and dry on like one of the biggest games of the year. I mean, if you're playing in some crappy bowl like Caleb Williams and USC is, it doesn't really matter. They're
well,
playing in one,
yeah.
but like if you're gonna go for a national championship, that's when it gets like, are you really gonna sit out when you're about to win a national championship?
I don't know, not maybe next year or whenever the playoffs expand, it'll be different because more people are going to be in it
Yeah, so
till
maybe
the
that'll be
end.
less.
Yeah, like I guess maybe if the playoffs keep expanding, less people opt out because you still have a chance.
Yeah, you don't get the guys trying to play in like the bowl games that don't matter at all. That's
Yeah,
true.
because you're only keeping four teams right now, so there's so many other like there's a top 25 and
Yeah.
only four make it, so that like that leaves out so many other good teams that just have players that are just like, ah, forget it. I'm not gonna play in the Pop Tart Bowl.
But
Yeah.
that's even crazier to me because now, like the teams in the top four this year, that's two more games they're playing if they win. And when it's
Yeah.
top 12, you might play three more games.
Plus, there's always the invitation games, like after the season ends, before the like the scouting combine. Like there's the Reese Senior Bowl. Like all the seniors get to play. You get
Yeah.
to play in like the All-Star game after the season's over.
That's
And
funny.
like people usually play in that. Like not a lot of people skip those. And like that's always a chance to get injured at one of those things. Like there's the Military Bowl, like the
Oh,
East-West Shrine game,
oh my gosh.
the NFL Players Association Bowl.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I didn't know about all them, so
Yeah. That's when like a lot of people make their names. Like Debo Samuel, he like really stood out there. Tank Dell had a big showing. Like a lot of people like sometimes if they went to like a smaller school or like a even like a Division 1 school that's just like a lower rank like a South Carolina,
hmm.
they can like get in there and like the year that Debo came out, the 49ers were coaching that like the in the Reese's Bowl, the Senior Bowl, and they saw him, so they got him like firsthand. It's like a little advantage for like winning teams to like coach that because you get a look at some of these guys and try them out in like roles.
Dang.
Yeah. So that's probably like not always like they might have liked Debo anyways, but it's like maybe the 49ers, if they never coach that year, never get Debo. So
Well, speaking of that, do we are we gonna get like a video game at all? Like the
yeah. Yeah, they actually there was like a big break in that in like the development. Like there was two companies like fighting it out for player rights.
oh
And I'm pretty sure they just came to an agreement, dropped the settlement, and now the game's still moving forward, but it probably won't be until like late next year, 2025. But it's
oh,
gonna happen.
that's hype. I'm more excited for basketball just to like play as like some random school in the like March Madness.
Oh, can we do like we do in Smash Bros. And
Yeah,
do like our own tournament where we each have our own team?
yeah, like that.
Yeah. I like that too.
But
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
excited for the college games to come back. I was thinking about them a lot. Like just how in depth they would be. Like you could do a franchise mode for a college and you would do like recruiting and get players and like find like you could recruit a 5-star and they would suck and you could recruit like a 2-star and he would end up being like a 5-star overall player. Like it was just neat how they were doing all these things and like I hope they bring all that back
dang.
in a way. Yeah.
Chase, you should name your team after further review when you play online, and then like people from listeners and stuff can challenge you since you're probably really good at the
Oh,
game.
I would do that. I play Madden a lot, but I play like just franchise mode stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we still need to actually we need to reset our Madden tournament now that we're not trying to play in the same house and the internet just keeps
That's true.
glitching out on
Yeah.
his
That's
Xbox.
true.
Yeah. Now I
I
got
mean,
good internet.
worst cases, someone could always bring in PlayStation or Xbox to the February trip. Just have a Madden round robin.
Oh man.
Girls probably won't be as in.
Lindsay.
Lindsay,
Hannah plays. Hannah plays Madden like
Oh, there you go. So Julia
a
has to
good
play.
bit.
Julie
Yeah.
would play if everyone else played.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, we could do that and then play Harry Potter, like a Quidditch game
oh,
on the flip side. So it's like,
Julie be in for that.
yeah, it's like an advantage to like Julia, Hannah
That game's
plays.
really fun, actually. Though I played it with
Yeah.
her. It's actually really fun.
Yeah, watch Hannah play. It's like pretty intense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that was an awesome conversation. I think we did some really good, deep, shallow dives into some stuff. And before we end it, real quick, I just wanted to mention one more thing. I haven't talked much sports card stuff on here, but Fanatics, obviously owning Tops now, doing a lot with sports cards. They just hired on Dude Perfect to be a box breaker with sports cards and with Fanatics.
Seems like a great way to get young kids involved.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. By the way, I hate Fanatics. They
Oh,
suck.
oh yeah, I don't like Fanatics either, but
I've been trying to get a white Ravens jersey.
yo, well, I don't want to spoil it. I was gonna order something for Ryan, but it's been a struggle. Anyway, we'll stop.
Well, they just never have it in stock. And I'm like, this is your job. You're the official shop. Like, why is it so impossible to get a white goddamn jersey?
They never let
It
me use
annoys
fan
me.
cash. They always say I have it, and then I go to check out, and they never let me use it. I'm pissed off at it.
I hate Fanatics.
Like you have $14 fan cash, and then I go to use it, and it'd be like, nope. Like,
it
okay,
sucks. They're literally headquartered 20 minutes from my house.
really?
And it's like, well, I order stuff from Dick's, which is in a completely different state, and it's at my door overnight.
Yeah, they've been screwing up some. They've been screwing. I won't get into it, but they've been screwing up really bad with sports card stuff. That could be another topic for another day. But they've been shitting the bed with that. So we'll get
Yeah,
into that another
Michael
time.
Rubin, I thought I loved you, but I think I hate you.
Yeah. So maybe another topic, Fanatics. We can just kind of talk about them as a whole in the sports space in general, just how they operate. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, great podcast today, boys. I think we're gonna wrap it up there. Been talking
Yeah.
probably longer than everyone wants to hear, but sometimes it goes that way. Just kind of go with the flow.
Yeah, if
So,
you made it this far, you're just gonna find out that we're gonna do this again next week, probably. So
yeah,
good job.
yeah, doing it again next week might be a little different with the holidays and just the time of year, but we will see you guys next year and then back at it for 2024.
Bigger and better.
Oh yeah. All right, see you guys.